Summer is a beach if you let it, and this time I let it. Welcome to Avant-Garde Odyssey. The heat didn't just melt my body, it melted my mind. And I stopped caring, not in a dramatic way, but in like a quiet sleep into nothingness, into stillness, into empty space. I pulled myself out of the body a little bit, still maintaining a link, and that was the uncomfortability of it. And I started floating, not in a dream, but in this thick, irrational air, where time stretches and effort seems like a joke. In contradiction with the usual things that I seem to know. And for the first time in a very long time, I just didn't want to try. And there is a relief, a weird kind of relief, a kind of relief that I'm not used to, but I'm ready to explore. I felt like I was in two worlds. The one that I'm usually fighting for, and the real one. Deadlines, effort, discipline, goals, intentions, and the one in my mind, the one that feels like science fiction. A life where I'm freer, more magical, softer, wilder, completely unbothered. A life that I feel I dreamt in a fever, but that somehow I recognize it. And it is so vivid and real. Too vivid not to be real. And in the heat, in the drift, that life started to feel more real than the one that I'm actually living. What if I'm not supposed to claw my way forward? What if I'm supposed to surrender to that version of me? The magical, the wild, the soft, the effortless. You know, all this is funny that it just happened because lately I've been doing all the things that I wanted to do, that I set myself to do, all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, taking care of my soul. So much discipline I injected into my days that at some point something happened that evaporated that need for, I don't want to say control, but we can say control over my life. That will that you direct when you're living. I did so much of it. I planned so much. I put so many hours into it in this hot summer. At that time, that something happened. And at the same time that I have been achieving goals and really devoting myself to a plan that I consider a mission, you know, an intention that goes further than just the actual things, but that has a spiritual purpose. But I have set myself into it, and such a discipline. It's funny that suddenly brought me to a place where it all evaporated into a kind of a nothingness, but not meaningless. Actually, this has been a very meaningful realization. What has been amazing is the series of events and how everything is changing at the same time that is teaching you. And there is so much learning in the navigation of opposites that present itself to you. And lately, I've been doing all the things right, taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, with great effort actually, and great discipline, and great focus, taking care of my soul. Showing up. I have been doing all those things in the last month and a half, very intensely, very purposefully. And suddenly I find myself in a crossroads where I see one reality and I see there is something else outside of it. And that is also me. And now I'm trying to balance those two worlds. And I don't know exactly where to begin, because they are so different from the other. But there is one thing I've noticed. The version of me that floats sees more. That version that floats remembers a life that hasn't happened yet. And you could think that that version is a fantasy. It's a great temptation to deny it and categorize it as a fantasy or as a moment of heat, floatiness. But everything is connected. Everything that happens to us is connected. And consciousness has many levels. So I tend not to disregard something just because it doesn't fit the narrative of the laws of this world. What if that version of me is an invitation? A very gentle proposition. A very amazing view of me that I have never seen before. What if science fiction is real? What if? This heat, this float that triggers this sudden inability to pretend? How can this not be real? Maybe this is not burnt out. Maybe this is threshold. A portal to a new awareness through experience. I don't want to fully come back. I mean, I'm here, I'm back, but it's not the same. Not the same pace. Even if I'm still disciplined, even if I'm still taking care of all the things that I intend to take care of, but something in my rhythm, a subtle yet very powerful change is taking place. And I don't want to brush it off. Not at all. I want to float again. Because to be honest, this timeline we're in never really made complete sense to me anyway, not even like a little bit. So maybe I'm going to stay right here at the edge, where one version of me is dissolving, while the other one is waking up. And I don't know what's real anymore, but I do know what feels like home. And home feels out of this world.